Welcome to the Mount Pleasant Podcast, featuring discussions and interviews about the people, places, and events that make Mount Pleasant such a special place.
This is the Mount Pleasant Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Cleary, and all thanks to the great people of Mount Pleasant Magazine, I get the honor, the privilege of introducing you to Mount Pleasant, the people who make it such a special place to do business, to work, and even to live. We're introducing you to Mount Pleasant's best on the Mount Pleasant Podcast. Feel good, look good, live better. Now, if those aren't three things that appeal to you, I don't know what's going on. And that's the reason why you want to listen to today's Mount Pleasant Podcast. It's what we're talking about. I'm Brian Cleary, and if you want to feel better, look good, live better, let me introduce you to a guy who can do that for you. Brandon D'Agostino is the founder, the owner, and coach of SOCiETY. So, Brandon, let's just go right to it. What is it about cycling and SOCiETY that make me feel better, look better, live better?
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Well, it's not just about cycling. So we've really tried to strive for a balance across lots of different fitness modalities. So you've got indoor cycling, we do strength training, HIIT classes, yoga sculpts, even restorative yoga classes. All that designed to just give you more balance in your wellness routine, but also, a big part of this is community as well. So we've, people hanging around the studio and, meeting friends and even making some business deals. We've got a lot of entrepreneurs that come into the studio and they find ways to connect with each other and do things outside of the studio, which is great.
When most people think about working out, they think about going to the gym, they go to the fitness room. At SOCiETY, you go to the studio. Explain why the studio and what makes that a little different.
Yeah, so we are a boutique fitness studio, and for us, it's almost like if you thought about sort of mashing a spa experience with a gym experience. That's really what we're about. The restrooms even are high end. We've got showers, high end toiletries, everything you need to kind of take care of yourself after a workout, but also, our staff really gets to know people. So when you come in, we're asking about your kids and where you went on vacation and how's work going. And it's really almost like Cheers, right? Everybody knows your name and it's more of a community than what you might have experienced going into a gym where you scan a card and, just kind of walk in and try to, fend for yourself.
Well, let's talk about working out a little bit, because if you've got, three prongs on your tripod there, one of yours is cycling. What is it about cycling that makes it such a good workout for someone? Yeah.
So not only is it an intense workout, you're probably going to burn, anywhere from 400 to 600 calories in that room. But you're going to have fun doing it. And so, for us, it's, we teach rhythm-based cycling at SOCiETY, and, the room is dark. We've got colored lights going on. So there's really an immersive experience, nightclub quality sound system, bass is pumping. The coach is giving you, motivational cues and guiding you through the workout, but it's really a full body workout. So you think about cycling, you think, okay, I'm going to work my legs. But we do choreographed moves on the bike, push-ups and use hand weights. So you're getting a full body experience, really strong in the core as well. And again, it's also an interval workout. So even though you're burning a lot of calories, we're not going at a super high intensity the whole time. There are some soulful moments where it gets dark and, turn the lights down, and we really, try to balance with, some, mental wellness as well, taking some time just to kind of pedal and, think through, the motivation and what the intentions are for that workout, and then, ramp it right back up into a sprint or into something, more high intensity. So again, it's up and down, interval training that, allows people to burn calories, long after the workout, and also build, endurance and strength at the same time.
And you mentioned before that SOCiETY is more about cycling. So you've added strength and you've added yoga. Tell me a little bit about that and why did we go in those directions at SOCiETY?
Yeah, so we started off actually when I brought the business last year. It was actually previously a cycle studio, and so it was already sort of built and set up for that, including the bikes being there. And we added bikes and rehabbed the studio a little bit, but some of our coaches, as well as me personally, had done a lot of strength training, and we knew that, building that foundation was super important for people. And, we're actually seeing, more and more women now just across the country are starting to come in and want to do strength training. They want to lift with barbells and kettlebells. And I think it's great because as we think about, the population, especially around North Mount Pleasant, our typical demographic is anyone, honestly, it's anyone even from high school all the way up into their 60s and 70s. But our core demographic really is that 35 to 55-year-old person. And that's really when you're getting to that point in your life where, you cross 50, you start to see muscle degeneration, bone degeneration. If you don't do some sort of strength training, it really is a use it or lose it kind of proposition. And so we feel like this is one of the ways that we're making people, helping people live better, is by building that foundation with strength training. And then, you can balance that with going and having fun in the bike room and dancing on the bike with the music pumping. And you're kind of getting all facets.
Podcasting has exploded in popularity, especially local podcasts. As of 2022, 62% of Americans have listened to a podcast. 38% have listened in the last month. 26% in the last week. The podcasting audience is booming with no signs of slowing down. Call the podcast hotline to be featured on these podcasts or to receive information about podcast marketing. Call 843-530-0403 or visit carolinapodcasts.com.
You're listening to the Mount Pleasant Podcast.
Brandon D'Agostino is our guest today. This is the Mount Pleasant Podcast, where the pages of Mount Pleasant Magazine come alive. We talk to you about the people, the places, the businesses that make Mount Pleasant special, and introduce you to some new things as well. Now, Brandon, let's introduce everybody to you yourself. Are you originally from the Low Country area? Give me a little bit about your background.
Yes, I grew up in Summerville, South Carolina. So go Green Wave. I went to Summerville High School and have been here just about my whole life. We moved here when I was 6 years old. So I've been around the Low Country. I spent some time in Columbia in college. And it's where I started having, we started having kids, and then we're fortunate to be able to move back to the Low Country in 2016. So we've been in Mount Pleasant since then, enjoying, the low country life. I think, hopefully this is where we'll retire and spend the rest of our lives.
So kids, that'd be plural. So are we talking 2, 3? Tell me a little bit about your family.
Yes, 3 kids, ranging in age from 10 to 16. So we've got one taking his driving test this week. So everybody look out.
So if I go to the SOCiETY webpage, it talks about how you were founded in 2022 by a group of renegades and dreamers. So where do you fall? Are you a renegade? Are you a dreamer?
Maybe a little bit renegade, a little bit dreamer. But, I think that, when we wrote that story, or that background, it was really about, the core group of leadership at SOCiETY, my head of strength programming, head of cycling, those coaches. We've all been around so many different fitness studios and fitness modalities. We've tried everything, we're fitness junkies ourselves. And so it was really about building a place that had all the good things that we liked about everywhere we've ever been, and all the things that we wanted in a studio if we were the customer, right? Not just thinking about how do you make money, how do you get people in the door, that kind of thing. But if we were the consumer, what would we want? Knowing all the good and the bad that's out there and all the different places that we've tried. So we try to weed out the bad and accentuate all those positive things.
So let's find out how I can get involved with SOCiETY. I've decided, okay, I want to get into shape, I want to tone, I'm ready to go. What's the first step I should take in terms of introducing myself to you at SOCiETY?
Yeah, so just even contacting us any way, you can call us. Our phone number and email and everything is on the website. You can create an account. As soon as you do that, someone from our team would reach out and talk to you about getting set up for your first class. And we do have an intro package that we offer. So you can do 2 weeks of unlimited classes for $49. And then the cool thing is if you do 6 classes during those 2 weeks, we give you that $49 off your first month. So it's almost like, it's a challenge for you to kind of earn that back and make that intro offer free.
Let's be honest here a little bit. You and I, we just met each other, but we can be friends. If I come to SOCiETY, are you just going to kick my butt?
No, we definitely scale. All of our workouts are scaled from, from the beginner who maybe hasn't ever worked out or hasn't worked out in maybe a few years. We hear that a lot. Someone who wants to kind of get back into it, all the way up to, seasoned athletes that, they can scale either the weight or the method that they're doing a particular exercise. And so what's I think unique about SOCiETY is that even though we're doing group fitness classes, we have certified trainers in the room that are going to go around and give you individualized attention during the class and make sure that form is correct. We're going to have consultation with you before we start to understand, do you have any injuries or any areas of concern that we need to watch out for? And then we communicate that as a team. So we know that if I talk to Brian and Brian's going to one of my other coaches' classes, I'll say, hey, heads up, Brian's got an old shoulder injury from football or something like that. And, just keep an eye on it. So we really try to, again, it goes back to trying to get to know our people and our clients really well.
So you kind of jumped ahead of me a little bit, because my follow-up there would be about individualized, because everything is a class, but there is the opportunity, and you will help out people on an individual basis, my needs, her needs, whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things we've started doing this summer is offering in-body scans as well. So we'll do body composition analysis, and we can even take a look at, your muscle mass and, body fat percentage, and really try to dial in some specific goals for you so that, if your goal is to just do some basic recomposition, I want to lose a little bit of fat, build a bit of muscle, we can help you there. We can give kind of, nutrition guidance, not to the level of a dietitian, but just general guidance, things to look out for. And yeah, just giving you that personalized attention, so that I think one of the things that people are intimidated by sometimes with fitness is, I'm going to go to this place I've never been before. I'm going to try to do this workout I've never done before with people I don't know, and, coaches I don't know. And then I've got to just kind of figure it out. Right. And then maybe I get results, maybe I don't. And so we want to eliminate that confusion or that anxiety from the process. So it's a very personal experience from the time you start becoming a member to, working with our coaches. And, even if you want to take some time after class, hey, could you show me how to do the deadlift? I'm just not getting it. We'll take that time and give you that individualized coaching.
Talk to me a little bit about the class concept. Is it better for me? I could say, well, no, I'm just going to go out on the road and run or do it by my own. What's the benefit of me being a part of a class to have workout and be fit?
Yeah, so you're really, just going out and running, or even going to a gym where you've got a huge floor of machines and weights and things like that. All the research you'd have to do to understand what's really going to give you results. Especially now, we're seeing a lot more research in the area of functional fitness, and understanding that the old 5x5 type workouts may not be the best thing, especially for an aging population. You want to look at things that are designed to be functional strength exercises that are going to make you be able to play with your kids better, and be able to shoot basketball when you're in your 60s and that kind of stuff. Go on those that trip around to Europe and be able to walk miles a day and not be fatigued. So our workouts are designed to hit not only the big muscle groups, right? Your squats, your deadlifts, those kind of traditional movements, but also, functional movements involving things like plyometrics. We incorporate balance and suspension trainers and lots of different pieces of equipment and modalities that I just think most people aren't going to know how to put that stuff together into a program. And it's why I think we see such great results. So, again, our team, all certified trainers that build the programming, based on latest research and, kind of evidence-based research into exercise science.
I have to think you've been asked this question before, and it may be top of mind because people see TV commercials or whatever, and will go, oh, you guys are Peloton. Tell me about your difference, and why is it that SOCiETY is better than me signing up with Peloton?
Yeah, so Peloton and some of the other cycle studios tend to focus a lot on metrics. And I'll say, one thing with Peloton that, I come from the tech world. So prior to SOCiETY, I worked for, tech startups and software companies. So I understand, the way that kind of a company is built. And I would say that, there are things that Peloton has to do because of the distance of their clients, right? Like you're not actually there with them to monitor them. And so there's a certain level of the workout having to be, kind of brought down to the level, most homogenized in a way. Whereas, the creativity that we can put into our workouts, there's a little bit more intensity. We ride harder than Peloton, but we bring you along in that way and offer you modifications until you're ready to do that level of intensity, like some of our advanced riders. And so it's not something where you need to be intimidated to come to one of our classes because it's going to be harder than Peloton. But and I think that they have some great coaches, right? I've done it on the road before. I've been in a hotel or something and jumped on the bike. But I think there's something different about the person next to you being physically there in that group, and it's actually kind of funny. The name Peloton actually comes from, the group of riders, the pack of riders riding together. Just brilliant idea for their company name as they were, marketing, but it really is different when you're in the room. I've had clients tell me that they've made major life decisions in that dark room, riding during one of those rides, getting the motivation from the coaches. And it's just something that I think it's hard to push yourself to the level that you need to do it to get the results when you're by yourself, right? When you don't have a coach there that's watching out for you, you don't have your community next to you, the people that you see every day that you work out with. So I just think there's a major difference with trying to do it at home and getting yourself past that sort of I want to that was good enough point and to really get results.
Today on Mount Pleasant Podcast, we're talking about the founder, owner, coach. Brian D'Agostino is with SOCiETY in Mount Pleasant, maybe a business you haven't heard of. So we're happy to introduce you to this business that's going to get you in shape and make you feel better. SOCiETY, Brandon, SOCiETY. I noticed the I is always small. Why is that?
Yeah. So when we were working on logos, we wanted something that indicated the idea of the community. And so the I represents the client or the member. And even though it's smaller than the other letters, it's because, the community's sort of risen up around the person, right? So the community is all around them. And that community being SOCiETY. And even the name SOCiETY, right, is a nod to the community. It's our own little society that is, all inclusive, welcoming to anyone. But exclusive in the sense that it's, we kind of watch out for each other. And it's something that once you're a part of, you're almost like a family member.
You've mentioned the fact that you're pretty tech savvy. So SOCiETY has an app. Tell me a little bit about the SOCiETY app.
Yeah, so you can book all your classes and track your progress in the app. And we like to celebrate milestones. So, when we see someone is, hit their 100th class or their 200th class, or we've even had a couple of people, we were fortunate to be able to bring some of the data over from the prior cycling studio. So we had members that used to ride here and have hit over 1,000 classes. And so that's a big party. We pop some champagne when somebody hits 1,000 classes.
I would think so. And for me, let's say I'm one of those people that you referenced that, it's been a while since I've exercised. I want to get back into shape. Can you give me a reasonable timeline? Some people are going to think, hey, 2 classes, I'm back, or is it 100? It's not 1,000, obviously. But what should I expect in terms of the timeline for me really starting to feel better?
Yeah. So for cycling, I usually tell people it's 3 classes, right? Because there's some choreography, there's some moves, and the coaches are going to call cues out, and so you need to learn what those are, and then the first class really is just kind of getting the physical aspects back, right? Getting the muscle memory going again. And then second class, you're starting to hear the moves, you're starting to do the moves. And then, we're going to help talk to you about, form and things like that. By the third class, you're incorporating it in, you're hopefully riding to the beat at that point, and then you're doing the moves. So really it's, 3 classes to get, to kind of feel that confidence level. So I always tell people, if you take one and you didn't really know what was going on, that's okay. Come back for a couple more classes. You'll get it quickly. And then we're actually doing a summer challenge. It's something we're going to do every year. It's an 8-week challenge. And I think really 8 weeks is a period, if you're really dialed into your nutrition, like you're being intentional about that, and you're coming to, 3 or even more classes per week, you're going to see results in 8 weeks, you're going to get to that point where you're confident doing the strength exercises, you're confident on the bike, you're confident in yoga classes. So really, I think a couple of months is a great timeline for someone to kind of kickstart that, get back into that fitness routine.
And as an individual, I come to see you, you're my coach. Are you going to be able to point me, okay, you need to be on the bike, or no yoga, or is it just, look at, this is an all in, you should hit, everybody should, I guess I'm asking you, how individualized will it be with that coaching, that first initial session?
Yeah, we like to give a mix based on people's goals. And sometimes that will surprise them. We've had people that are surprised when they say they want to lose body fat and we tell them to do more strength training. They would think, get on the bike and do cardio. But it's, I want you to do the strength training because that's a foundational element that's then going to help you excel at all the other things. And you'd be surprised how quickly you'll burn fat doing strength training, especially our style, because it's circuit based, it's fast paced. So you're doing lots of exercises in that period of time. But yeah, we definitely do an individualized mix, and we can offer that kind of advice, even as people's goals change, right? So as your fitness level improves, your goal may shift to building more muscle mass. And so we may prescribe a little bit of a different mix for you. And then, at the end of the day, we just want people to have fun too. So, adherence in exercise is all about you enjoying what you're doing. So if you love to be on the bike and that's your jam, then I want you to take as many of those cycling classes as you can. I'm just going to encourage you to take some of the strength classes as well.
And you mentioned before the fact that you're a dad. You've got 3 kids. I noticed on your website, childcare. That's got to be a huge thing for a family, a mom and dad that wants to get in shape but has that scheduling challenge.
Yes, absolutely. So we offer childcare. We have a really cute childcare room that's dedicated space in the studio. So during lots of our classes, we'll offer childcare, and you can drop the kids off as early as 15 minutes before class. And then, if you need to shower or anything after class, you can leave them in there until you're ready to go. It's been, a huge benefit for some of our parents, especially when you've got, both parents working, or even on the weekends, if dad wants to work out and mom has an event that she's going to or something like that, or dad's golfing, you can still bring the kids and get your workout in the morning and then go on about your day. So yeah, people love the childcare. It's been a huge benefit for our members.
And you mentioned the music that I'll be riding to. So who's the DJ? Do you pick the playlist? How does that come out?
Yeah, music is a big part of what we do. We're very particular with our coaches. So to become a coach here, you've got to already come in with some great music taste, but we like to do, it's a mix. As you can imagine, it's probably a lot of hip hop, EDM, but we try to find those rare remixes, DJ mixes and things like that. So you're always kind of guessing, right? You might recognize some elements of a song, but we try to be pretty exclusive with the music that we play. And like I said, it's a big point of pride with our coaches as well, playing the best music.
So I'm not thinking I'm going to be riding too much to, say, Elvis Presley or whatever during a workout.
You'd be surprised sometimes. You have kind of soulful point in the ride where we play a lot of different things. And so you might hear some Elvis, maybe an Elvis remix, but we play all kinds of different stuff. And I did an arena rock ride where I wore a 80s metal wig during the class, and we opened up to AC/DC and did some sprints to some Guns N' Roses EDM remixes and stuff. So we have fun with it. And every Friday we do a theme ride, and then we do theme rides around holidays and other times. So when you check the schedule, there might be, I think last Friday was boy bands. So it runs the gamut, all kinds of music styles.
Well, I didn't see that particular photo though on your website. So maybe it's on social and I just missed it. So I look forward to seeing that. So let's wrap up here. Talk to that person who's sitting in the chair. They're thinking about it, but they just can't get over that motivational hump. What can you say to get them to SOCiETY?
I think, it really just takes trying it one time, right? I think people, again, they're intimidated by workouts, and, you've seen some stuff where Even people who have maybe tried things in the past and it just was too hard to get over the hump of learning all the moves. Our exercises are going to be familiar. It's the mix and the way that they're presented that is unique to us, but it's things that you're probably already used to doing. And as I said before, the biggest thing I think as we get older is, you've got to be doing something, you've got to be training. And that's what's going to make you feel great in your 60s and your 70s. It's the work you do in your 40s and 50s. So, you really got to get started. And if not today, then when is it going to happen? Right. And so, better to do it with a team of people that's going to work with you and give you a personalized experience than to try to go into, maybe go to a gym or try to do stuff on your own. That it's really hard to stick to those plans unless you have that accountability and you have some coaching to help you. So we'll help you fast track those goals and get there a lot quicker than you would probably on your own.
And your suggestion to start, you've got this $49 2-week unlimited special, and that's going on right now?
Yes. Yeah, that is going on now. You can sign up on our website, or if you have questions, like I said, reach out to us, phone number, email, even just dropping by the studio. We'll give you a quick tour and we can tell you about the classes. The 2 weeks is a great way to get started, and that'll give you enough time really to try out all the different class types and see everything that we have to offer.
He is Brandon D'Agostino. He's the founder, owner, and also one of the coaches at SOCiETY. Feel better, look better, live better. You can do it all just because you watched and listened to the Mount Pleasant podcast. This is where the pages of Mount Pleasant magazine come alive. Brandon, thanks so much for taking the time to talk with us today.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. It's been great.
I'm Brian Cleary. We'll see you next time here on the Mount Pleasant podcast.
Thanks for spending your time with the Mount Pleasant podcast, your community, your podcast. Listen to past and future episodes at mountpleasantpodcast.com.